Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is G and I'm currently documenting my journey learning Korean. Today I wanted to share with you guys how I personally study Korean vocabulary using my Talk to Me in Korean weekly vocabulary book, and how I then turn vocabulary into flashcards using the Anki app in order to practice the vocabulary words using a spaced repetition system. So if you are looking for a vocabulary study routine that is very simple but effective, then hopefully this video is helpful for you. So here are the resources that I'm working with. First off, we have my weekly vocabulary book by Talk to Me in Korean. This is one of my favorite resources for learning Korean vocabulary. Each week covers a specific theme. For example, shopping, school, food, emotions, and you get 10 words per week with example sentences and even audio files online that you can listen to. So I highly recommend this book. I think it's really useful for learning vocabulary. And then second, I mentioned the Anki app, which is a flashcard app that uses the spaced repetition system, which basically means that it shows you the words that you struggle with more often and shows you the ones that you find easy less often, which I found has been an absolute game changer for memory. So today I'm going to work through this chapter, which is Jumun. I already know a few of these words, but I'm going to go through and underline or highlight, I guess is a better thing to do, the words that I don't understand so that I can focus on learning those.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I made my list. So we have 난조한, 나카론, 개인적인, 대답하다, 잠들다, and 바로. So now that I have my list of vocab words that I want to memorize, I'm going to go into my Anki flashcard app and start making flashcards for them. But before I do, just as a quick guideline, here's what I usually like to include on my Anki flashcards. I usually like to include the word in Korean with no English translation, a sample sentence which I usually either take from the Talk to Me in Korean book itself or I'll just create my own, and of course I like to add an image to my flashcards too. So I will go into the Anki app and I will create a new deck and I will just name the deck TTMIK vocab and then today's date, which is the 14th. I do put the day first because I'm British. 난처한. The front should be the image and the back should have the answer. After I read Fluent Forever, the author of that book did say that he recommends you don't use any English translations so that it helps your brain think quicker in your target language rather than constantly trying to translate everything into English first. So that was one reason why I only include the Korean on the flashcards and no English translation. The other reason is that I personally am a very visual learner, so I just find that that works best for me too. And I think if it's an image that I've personally selected to use on the flashcard, that just helps make it even more memorable for me, because it's like I remember picking out that image to mean that word, if that makes sense. So for me, I am going to use this one because this girl is the epitome of awkwardness for me. And then on the back we will put the 난처한, and I will know when I see that image that it means awkward. Yeah, this technically goes against my no English translation rule. However, I feel like using this particular image for very is really going to help it stick for me, so I'm going to do that for that one. We have 들다, which is to raise or to pick something up. So for that, picture of raised hands, I think. As a former teacher, that really helps me to remember.
10 minutes later.
I know this seems like a lot of work, but the act of making the card itself is part of the learning process, so I do think it's worth it. And then once you've made your flashcards, this is how it will look. So it will show you the image. When I click show answer, it will say the vocab word, but then also give the example sentence for extra context. And obviously in my case I just have the Korean, no English translation. At the bottom you can click how easy you found recalling the word, and that will dictate how often the app then shows you the word. If you found it more difficult, it will show you it more often, and if you found it easy, it will not show you it for a little bit. I just go through and do this for each vocab word, so I just add the vocab word and then the example sentence. The way that I use it to review is I will usually try and say the word out loud first and try to recall the meaning. If I get it wrong, then I make sure to add it to the list of cards that I need to review on a more regular basis. So for this is 개인적인, I think, 개인적인, and that is private. This is, I know that it's awkward in English, but I've already forgotten the Korean word, honestly. Nan something. Nan 처함. I had trouble with that, so I'm gonna say hard for that one. 들다, correct. 들다, and the example is 질문이 있으면 손을 들어주세요. This is 바로, I think. Yes, 바로, which means immediately. This is 참, which means very. 됐다.
That is not correct.
No, 대답하다. 대답하다 is question. That one was hard. This one is 노력함. No, it's not. 난처함. This one is 개인적인, maybe? 개인적인? Yes, 개인적인. 난처함. Finally! So that's my Korean vocab routine and how I personally study Korean vocab. Nothing too fancy, but I have found that this method works pretty well for me. If you're also learning Korean, then I definitely recommend that you check out Talk to Me in Korean's books, especially the vocab book that I'm using. They have this one, which is book 1, and they also have a second book. This is the first one. I recommend that you get this book for sure, or at least check it out if you haven't already. It's very, very useful for learning vocab in my opinion. And also check out Anki. Anki is a free app. For me, it really helps keep everything organized and also helps me to remember and recall the vocab much more quickly than I had before. If you found this video helpful, or you just want to keep following me on my Korean learning journey, then please do make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And please do drop a comment below. I would love to hear how you personally study
What?
I would love to hear how you personally study Korean vocabulary yourself. And I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!